guys. Let me see if you can you guys hear me? Yeah, we cannot hear you guys for some reason, not even on the phone. So I don't know if your mic is selected or you're muted actually on there. Let me see.
That would have
Say
come
something.
for it.
We're good here. Can you hear us?
Okay. Well, you guys keep talking because I cannot hear you, so I have to get that sorted.
Okay. I could hear something in the background there, but
Yeah, we can hear your background. You've got an echo.
yeah, we have got gremlins, guys, again on the here again this morning because obviously Chris is trying to get on board from the hotel. We're at Shea Winds Palace. So before we go any further, let's do some housework because, like I say, we've got the presser coming up, the Bournemouth presser. So anybody out there in Viewland, if you could give us the thumbs up. Welcome across all of the channels if you're watching this morning. Again, sorry, it's been a bit of a mismatch of a start because some of our settings just weren't working very well. Trying to link up with Chris, and as you can see, he's still struggling with sound over there. So yeah, give us the thumbs up. Don't forget if you hit the bell, you'll get all of the shows notifications as soon as they get uploaded. You will get notified for them, or as soon as we go live. We do a lot of live shows. We do multiple shows throughout the week. So like I say, thumbs up, subscribe. It's totally free. When you if you could do this, biggest favour you can do for us going forward is share. Just share the video amongst your friends, and that will just open us up to other NUFC supporters out there and other football fans, because that's at the end of the day the one thing that we've noticed. We met a Scouse lad yesterday, a Liverpool lad, who's going to join us at some point and talk about when we play Liverpool. So, like I said, the community of football is phenomenal. So, do us a favour, massive thumbs up for us, subscribe, share, all the bits and pieces. And like I say, today is the presser with Bournemouth and Eddie. Not expecting anything different from him, to be fair.
But keep up the good works, guys. Sharing and liking and subscribing because it helps us grow. And believe it or not, we've gone from 3,000. We've just passed the 4,000
4,000, yeah,
mark,
absolutely. So
and
well done.
it's taken from 3,000 to 4,000. Has only taken about 6 weeks. So it's exponential. If you share it, let people know that what we're doing, and we will continue to grow with a bit of luck.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, it's
It'll be the same old Eddie, same old Eddie.
same things, yeah, same things said. I'm not expecting the world and his
The
brothers,
same
to be
old
fair.
boring Eddie,
Yeah, yeah.
as Luke
As
Edwards
Luke Edwards
pointed
say.
out at the last press conference.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we've got some guys in the press. I'm going to let you do that side because there you go.
Yeah.
I can't see that far because it's the other side of the screen.
Is Chris in yet? I just heard
No.
someone in the background.
Yeah, Chris is just coming in. Yeah, I can hear
Loud and clear.
you.
100 times already all night. That's some cheap stuff, man. I cannot believe you. That's what was making me feel kind of out of my zone last night when we were at the Chinese restaurant. But my good, I need something to. I need to stop the hemorrhage right now, ladies and gents. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Because people were telling me that I was drunk and that's why we were late. No, not yet, not yet. That wasn't the issue. But so what do we need to do? We need to. I tell you what, man. We can just do this right
Just
here
waiting for Eddie coming into the room.
anytime now. So we're gonna just switch right onto this scene right here that has us fit and proper, at least the best we can.
Oh, right. Oh,
Exactly, because you already screwed it up, man. I saw you. But yeah, hopefully Mr. Edwards doesn't say anything stupid like that again.
Yeah, Geordie Dan saying, "Get yourself a bacon butty."
Mate, no, but
I'm not even that time for a slice of toast because when we're trying to find the mic splitter for this system here, the toast was burning.
It was. I'll tell you something now. I thought there was a cremation of some description going on in the kitchen. There was that much smoke. So yeah, bit of a strange start to the day.
man, I tell you what, I need to be on a white rice and chicken breast diet at the moment. The mighty, so the American mag is down, but you can only, I've only lost the battle, ladies and gents. I've only lost the battle. Mighty win. I told you, man, you cannot never trust him, man. He tried to bring me down yesterday, tried to poison me, but it's okay. I've risen. I've risen.
If I'm honest with you, Chris, I think because I haven't felt brilliant, and I didn't have lager until I went into the Chinese restaurant, and the amount of food we had, if I'm honest with you, because I haven't
Oh
felt
my God.
comfortable all night.
I can vouch for that.
So let's just say it could be the fact that yes, gassy beer and a buffet didn't actually go down well.
Yeah. Um. Well, it's some people on the video that we did the vlog, which done amazing by the way. We're gonna do another match vlog, and we're gonna work on a way to keep bringing in your way. I know well I'm only here for 2 games, but we're gonna work on bringing the match vlogs because I know you guys love those. Love seeing what it is like to walk in, and some of you already are go to the stadium, but still want to see somebody else's experience. So we'll work on those. But some of those comments there said that Luke Edwards didn't mean it to come out that way. Maybe he wanted to bring sarcasm, joking, and it obviously didn't come out that any funny at all. So shall we give Luke Edwards a pass because he's been kissing up Eddie Howe's backside for 20,000 years. So some people.
If I'm honest with you, Chris, without actually listening to the conversation, because I didn't hear the presser at all with Luke Edwards, and like I say, I can only assume the type of what he meant by you boring. Like I said, it could have been misconstrued.
Well, Eddie, let's be honest. At press conference, he is boring.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to give anything away, and
He doesn't give too much.
he spouts the country line.
Yeah.
The company line, sorry. It is what it is. I'm quite happy with Eddie just the way you are.
Yeah.
Billy Joel, who an American, by the way, had never heard of. An American had never heard of Billy Joel. Can you believe that? He says, who's he? Never heard of him. The 6th biggest selling artist of all time. And an American hasn't heard of him.
Look, man,
I think it's an age thing.
I know some of his songs. I don't know names, man. I don't know names. And right now, I got no time to argue back because I'm feeling froggy still. I'm dehydrated.
Yeah, this is the same Mr. Big who was going to come over and show us how to drink, by the way.
No, that ain't got nothing to do with that. You try to poison me. You're not playing fair games, man. Fucking hell, man. That damn beer got me dehydrated. I lost all my liquids, man.
You can't hack it, son. You can't hack it.
Nah, and the Guinness was amazing. That's why I asked for a Guinness at the end because that's no gas, just cream, lovely. That fucking beer, man. I don't know what the hell that was. That Foster's, and actually, Davey T is telling on the comment on the live show that we did. By the way, great banter, great stuff. He said, "I can't believe Wynn gave Chris Foster's. That's piss water." There you go.
No matter with Foster's, man.
Come on, man. Good morning, everyone. Everybody that's coming in. In minutes now, we're just gonna be getting it. Well, make sure you refresh. Keep that refreshed, Win, because it should be. We should be coming pretty soon. There we go.
Yeah. How has Miguel Almiron been recently with all of this going on?
Top class. I mean, he, as you know, his sort of playing persona is his personality. He's happy, a brilliant professional actually. Miggy's one that will come in almost every day. He lives his life through the football club. His training performances this year, his focus, his personality has been just very consistent with his normal self. So I have no issues with him on that side.
You didn't have Fabian Schär the other night against Wolves because of illness. Will he be back in the squad on Saturday?
We'll make a decision today. Fabi trained yesterday, but was not 100% himself in terms of his well-being. Nasty cough. I think he had a nasty illness. So we'll see how he's recovered today and then make a decision whether he's fit enough to be involved.
If you win this weekend, it will set a new club record, 10 wins in a row in all competitions. It feels like a significant statistic, but what's your attitude towards records and stats like that? Does it matter too much to you?
We've actually been quite relaxed during this run. We've not focused on it. We've not talked about it internally. We've just gone on to the next game. Certainly not going to change now. It will just be about Bournemouth and making sure that we perform in the right way. I'm relaxed on these things because I know it's something for everyone to talk about, and of course we want to win and we want to keep the run going as long as we can. But it's always about how we play, and that's what I'll be focusing on.
How do you see the picture at the top of the Premier League table at the moment? Because you moved above Chelsea and into fourth the other night. You can go third if you win because Forest play on Sunday. It is really tight, and there are a number of teams just behind you as well who had good results in midweek. Yeah,
I think we've been saying all season it's a really unusual Premier League season in terms of the league table. Very tight, congested. I think every team going right the way down the league will look at if we can get some consistent results together, we could be in the mix. I think it works both ways. So now we have to guard against falling off from where we've been. So we've really enjoyed the run. We've put ourselves in a really good position, and now it's about foot to the floor and try and make more.
And just a couple of questions on Bournemouth, who are one of those teams that are not far behind you. They almost got a terrific victory at Chelsea the other night. They're in brilliant form and doing well without attacking players who are injured as well. What do you like about the way they play?
Yeah, I like a lot about how they play. I think they are never out of game. I think you look at them consistently, and they've had some remarkable turnarounds in games where they've been losing a game. I think back to Everton, several other games where they've had a real late period of momentum in the game. Ipswich the same, and they end up winning the game. So I think their spirit is undeniable in their performances. You can see the togetherness that they play with. I think Andoni deserves huge credit for not just the job he's done, but the style of play that they've implemented there. And very difficult to play against, very fast-paced, aggressive. I think it'll be a really good game tomorrow against two teams that were sort of mirroring styles, although slightly different in how it's constructed. It will be two teams trying to win, that's for sure.
And they're opening a new training ground soon. I don't know if that was in the works when you were there, but how pleased are you to see the continued growth of Bournemouth off the pitch as well?
Yeah, that was very much in the pipelines. I think Jason and I spent a period of time designing it and trying to get it how we would want it back then. But of course, well, now a lot's changed. Delighted really that the infrastructure of the club is now falling in line with the performance on the pitch. That was always the big jump when you go from League Two to the Premier League. Can your facilities and everything behind the scenes fall in line with the team? And credit to the owners who have gone in there and done a brilliant job in investing. It's a brilliant setup. I've not seen it personally myself, but delighted for Bournemouth.
Thanks, Reza. Keith?
Eddie, other than Fabi that you mentioned a moment ago, you're unsure whether he'll be involved or not. Is there anyone else that could miss, or is it the same squad as the other night?
No, I think it'll be pretty much the same squad.
Yeah. How pleasing is it right now that you're managing to keep? Yes, you're getting the odd injury, Callum Wilson out for a couple of months, Nick Pope, but it feels like you're controlling the injury situation a lot better than sorry.
Well, it's just you don't want to tempt fate, do you? I think.
But that's helped that's certainly, you would suggest, helped your run of form. That the core of the team has been available to you over the last couple of months?
Yeah, without a doubt, and I think that is a challenge ongoing. I think the schedule of games is different to last year. The games we had last year, especially around December, hit us hard. But I think you're right. I think we've managed certain situations much better this year. Everyone deserves congratulations with that. Medical team, sports science team. James Bunce has come in and had a really positive impact, I think. So I'm delighted with how that's working. But the challenge of that never stops. Now we have picked up injuries to important players, but then other players have stepped up and minimised that absence. And that's always what you're looking to do. You're looking for the squad to take the load. We now miss Harvey, who's a big player for us. Missing Callum for the length of time we had has been a huge blow. Missing Nick and his importance has been difficult for us, but that's where credit to the players that have been fit, because they've taken on the burden and done really well.
Do you have to be mindful of Sven ahead of tomorrow, given that he played 90 the other night, less than 72 hours ago off the back of his injury? Yeah,
of course. We monitor all the players. It's a quick turnaround in games. It's an early kick-off as well, so we lose a couple of hours there. So we'll try and make the right decisions for the team and for the squad and for the individuals.
On Almiron, I know obviously you can't say too much with regards to what's going to happen with him potentially leaving. If he were to go between now and the end of the window, how dangerous or would it be to not replace him, given that you're light in that position with Harvey's injury as well? I know he plays on the left, but you're light on wingers, should I say?
Yeah, I think it's not ideal, but I don't think it's ideal from anyone's viewpoint. From our side, we don't want to lose players, but we know that there's a reality to PSR and the ongoing managing of that situation. So sometimes, as we've said many times over the last few weeks, we're making decisions not based on football, but based on decisions that we potentially have to make for the future.
And I know you said after the Wolves game the other night you hadn't heard anything at that stage regarding a move from Fenerbahce for Lloyd Kelly. Is there anything that you've learnt since then you can tell us?
Nothing to update on, Keith.
No, okay. For his situation though, could you understand if he was, I don't know if he's frustrated or not, but could you understand why, if he felt it was difficult for him to play when he's obviously got Dan Burn in there, one of your top performers this season? You've got Sven coming back in now. There's a lot of competition in that position, both at left centre back and I suppose at left back as well, because Dan could potentially push over.
Yeah, Lloyd's not talked to me at all about wanting to leave the football club. I think he's only just joined. I think there's an understanding from his perspective that he's got to come in and earn the right to play and prove that he deserves to play ahead of other players. So he's been absolutely no issue. He's been great to work with, as I knew he would be. He's waiting for his opportunity. So there's no issue with Lloyd at all. I think this is, whatever rumours you're hearing, are club-driven. From Fenerbahce, not from the player. So I want to make that very clear. And Lloyd's an important part of what we're doing. As I said, he's recently joined. We're working with him. We're enjoying working with him, and he's got an important part to play.
Last one for me on your striker. He's absolutely on fire at the moment. Scored in 8 successive Premier League games. How does it feel as the manager, knowing that you're going to the pitch with someone like that in your team? And just as you walked in the room there, I noticed that it had been announced that Erling Haaland signed a new 9.5-year deal at Manchester City. Would you like to hold down your own Scandinavian striker to a 9.5-year deal?
That's a long one. And congratulations to him on that. I think every situation's different, and I think from our viewpoint, we could not regard Alex highly enough. His contribution this season has been immense, especially recently. I think I don't want to change that rhythm that he's in, and I think it's about very similar for the team and for Alex, not thinking too deeply, just going into the games in a good frame of mind and enjoying your football and try and carry on the form that he's in. Everything else off the pitch will naturally fall into place off of what he does on it. So I'm sure there's lots of positive things in the future for him. At the moment, I just want him to concentrate on scoring.
Thank you. Thanks, Keith. Andy?
Well, Eddie, did you manage at least a little bit more sleep last night than you did on Wednesday?
No, not really. Actually, it was not enough sleep last night because I got to come in and meet you guys early. But no, it was okay.
I'll move on to football. The word calm has cropped up a lot recently. Player interviews, I remember you talking to Jason just after the Arsenal full-time whistle and saying calm. Is that the key? How do you keep a side that have won 9 consecutive games calm in an emotional landscape like Newcastle?
Yeah, I don't think it's been difficult, to be honest. I think the players have been very mature in their response to this winning run. I don't feel I've had to do too much to keep the focus, to remain level, which is a huge compliment to them, because I think the players are seeing this as an expectation that they have rather than they're surpassing expectations. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. It's just, I think there's a belief within the squad that, you know, we have good players and we can win games. I think remaining level and just remaining focused on the next target is always my preference. The lads can, obviously sometimes unwind mentally when there's a break in games, but I think when you have the schedule that we've had recently, you have to be absolutely on the next one, and then everything you need to do to recover to be ready for it. And Bournemouth game, as we said, is a short turnaround. We have to be ready mentally and physically, and I hope we will be.
Keith mentioned the top 4 there. Asked Sven Botman about it post-match on Wednesday and said, you know, how desperate are the players to make Champions League? And he just replied, desperate. Are you desperate for Newcastle to make Champions League?
I'm desperate for everything. But you are, because you have to take and grab any opportunity you get. So whatever the next target is, whatever is achievable, I'm desperate. The players are desperate. We want success. We want tangible rewards for all the efforts that we're going to give. And we don't want to wait. We want to grab now. So that's definitely the attitude that I want the players to play with.
Just a final one from me. We've talked injuries already, obviously. Newcastle suffering them last year. Bournemouth going through this mini-injury crisis as well. How well do you think they've done despite that in the last couple of weeks? Because you know it, you've been through it here at Newcastle.
Yeah, they've done very well. I think when you have the number of injuries that we had last year and they've had this year, it is very difficult to manage. The load then becomes bigger on the individuals that are playing. And you're at that breaking point sometimes where you feel you can go over the edge if you get 1 or 2 more. I think they've still got a very, very good starting 11 and still a good balanced team. So Lewis Cook played right back against Chelsea but did a brilliant job there. So, yes, you know, maybe slightly disjointed. Obviously, the 2 strikers, losing them is a huge blow because they're the focal point of the team. But I think Andoni and this coaching staff have managed that really well.
Thanks, Andy. Nisha?
Morning, Eddie.
Morning.
After the Wolves game, you spoke about Tonali and what he did defensively that people might not realise that it hit the ground he covered. That was picked up on Match of the Day. At the game, Joe Linton, you know, was celebrating making a tackle. You've got these players quite literally running the miles from you. How do you get more out of them to continue this run?
Well, I think it has to come from the players themselves. Firstly, we just try and set the framework and the environment for them to enjoy, and you hope that they feel the relationships with their teammates on the pitch, and that inspires them even more. I think the midfield, especially the work they're doing defensively, has been outstanding in recent weeks. It's played a big part in our wins. I think the fitness levels of the players is very, very strong. I think we've recovered from a bit of a shaky start to the season in that respect, where we didn't look ourselves. Now I think we're seeing the importance of that fitness element in our game, the ability to go right till the end of the game, to cover big distances. But I think it's all about the individual player within the team framework, and having the motivation levels to do that consistently.
You mentioned the fitness levels at the start of the season and not being quite right. And could you have anticipated this run that you've gone on? What do you think was it a number of factors coming together? Was it that midfield 3 just all of a sudden, you know, a spark lighting? What has been the change, or has it been multiple things?
Yes, for me, it's been multiple things. I know everyone will want to think there's one thing that contributes to it, and then if you keep doing that, you'll keep winning games. It's not quite as simple as that. I think whenever a team's successful or not successful, there's multiple factors. So we have to keep staying on top of the small margins, the things that really affect our performance in a positive way. We have to stay on top of them and make sure that we continue to do it while still evolving. And there's still things from the Wolves game that we weren't happy with, that we know we can do better with. And the challenge is to keep evolving.
And just finally, Newcastle have a very good record with 12:30 kickoffs. I think unbeaten in the last 6. How do you feel about a 12:30 kickoff?
Well, I feel all right. I'm not playing. I wake up okay. I think it is slightly different. I think sometimes the kickoff can be there in front of you before you know it. So I think your preparation, your wake up time, all the things that maybe people don't see. When the players eat, how they eat is really important of those early matches. So hopefully we'll be ready.
Thank you. We'll fit as many as we can. We'll start with Damien, we've got to Lee, Ian and Dom.
Really. Any time here, you've made some big money signings. I think of people like Bruno, Sven, Alex Isak, Tonali, people like that have paid off really handsomely. But how slim is the margin for error in a PSR world?
Yeah, well, it's very slim, because if you look at those signings and we didn't get them right, we're left in a really awkward position, because the impact of PSR is so big that if the trade-off in terms of trying to maybe move players on that you're not happy with and then replacing them, that becomes very messy. Now, I know every team will say the same, but failure in the transfer market was always a very costly thing. But I think in this world, it's even more costly. So that's where the importance of future signings comes into place. Those historical signings, I think, have been absolutely outstanding for us. And I've said before, I wouldn't change any of them. They've been magnificent. But the importance of future recruitment takes on even a bigger focus in the future.
When you brought Sandro in, at the time, did you think he was the final piece of the jigsaw then, or somebody to build a future team around?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's the final piece of the jigsaw. I think with Sandro, of course, we were signing going into our Champions League season, where we knew the higher number of games. We knew the importance of the power of the squad going into that season, and unfortunately we lost him. But for me, he's multi-talented, and the sort of the profile we're looking for is someone that could play multi-roles in midfield, not just one. Yeah, and he's everything that I hoped he would be, and more really. I think he's really improving all the time. The training he did in between with the ban, I hoped would pay dividends for him long term. But without that match stimulus, I think it was always difficult to see how much he had evolved and changed during that time. But I think now we're seeing that there's real growth in his performances.
Thanks, Damien. A couple from Lee.
With Miggy's situation, is it a risk to play him? Because if he did get injured tomorrow, you'd lose the player's services potentially for a while and potentially lose the deal. So is that a risk?
Everything's a risk, Lee. I don't think we can look at it like that. I've got a player in the squad at the moment that is fit, available, wants to play. I have to use him to the best benefit of Newcastle United until the day is not here.
And just with the sort of the scouting situation, obviously the scouts have been spotted around grounds. You know you might not be able to spend any money. Do you have to kind of motivate the scouting network a little bit as well as you play?
I've got enough people to motivate without motivating them. That would be a strange one, giving a team talk to a group of scouts. No, I think your scouting process never changes. Even if you're active in the market or not, you have to be out watching players, you have to be building your knowledge, and you have to have an eye on the unexpected could happen, and suddenly we're able to recruit. So we can't rest for 1 second, and those people involved don't need motivating. They know there's a lot of pressure on their shoulders to identify the next players we need.
Thanks, Lee. Ian?
Good morning, Eddie.
Morning.
Your manager is a great believer in having settled teams, particularly settled defences. Now you've got 3 centre halves who, unquestionably, all 3 deserve to start on their form. If they all stay fit this season, would you consider rotating? Or could one of them, the odd one out, could he risk being out of the side for the rest of the season?
Hypotheticals are very dangerous for me. I think, I do believe in a settled back four, ideally, but there's there's loads of different ways that you can be successful with, and rotation is something that, of course, we'll look at depending on the game and different profiles to suit different games. But I think that's what we've needed, and what we've been crying out for a long time is more of a squad depth. So how you can't moan then when you have the squad depth. And I think the challenge for the players is greater than ever within our squad currently. Is you've got to perform well if you want to keep your place. And I think that's a really healthy thing for everyone to have in the back of their mind. So, yeah, potentially in the future I'll have some difficult decisions to make, but all for the benefit of the team.
Look at Bournemouth, you've obviously still got a soft spot for them. Do you consider them rivals for European place? And would you like to see them in Europe next season?
Well, they're absolutely a rival for a European place. If you look at their statistical data, they're up in the position that they are on merit. And if anything, it could have ended up with a lot more points from some of their performances. So they're absolutely there where they deserve to be. This isn't something that we didn't expect really from playing them early season, because I thought they gave us a very, very good game at the Vitality Stadium. They're very strong. So in terms of whether I'd like to see them there, it depends where we are. So, Newcastle the priority.
Thanks, Ian. Don?
Morning, Eddie. In the summer, there was a substantial amount of money to spend on a player that ultimately wasn't spent. So I know you've touched on this previously. Naturally, now in January, people will wonder where that money is and why it may not necessarily be spent this month.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and explain PSR because I don't even understand all of it. But it's not as clear as everyone make out. There's not a pot of money there waiting to be spent. It's all about the 30th of June and making sure you comply by that date. So obviously if you spend money, then you have to recoup it at a later date. So hopefully that doesn't explain anything, does it? But in my head it does.
And on a different subject, Nick Pope, it's been six weeks since his injury. Would you expect to have him back involved tomorrow?
I think tomorrow might be a little bit too early, but certainly he's going to be close for next week. He's not trained with us yet, but he's certainly building up to that moment. We're happy with where he is at, and I think mentally he's getting there, ready to play.
Thanks, Tom. We've got Scott, Luke, and then Craig.
Hi, Eddie. How much have you had to, as a head coach who's kind of seen football how it used to be, if you like, and seeing the changes, how much have you had to get used to the fact that some recruitment decisions are taken out of your hands? So, for example, in years gone by, if a manager didn't want to lose a player, they wouldn't lose them. Now it's just not as simple as that.
Yeah, I don't view that as a recruitment decision. I just see that as a squad. It's different. Recruiting for me is you're bringing players in. Losing players from your squad is always a difficult thing. Yeah, and this is slightly different. I've never sort of had this. This first experience, of course, was Elliot in the summer. Really, the big transfer blow where you're losing someone that you don't have to lose footballing wise, but you have to financially, as we spoke about before. And I think this will happen again. I think if you can't control it and you know that it's for the benefit of the club, you have to not be supportive of it, but you can't block things. You can't be too clever because it's about the long-term future, financial future of the football club. So you've got to make smart decisions. Sometimes decisions that you know will impact the team may be short-term, but you have to take that pain.
Thank you.
Luke?
I'll be the first to say how informative and entertaining this morning's press conference.
That's very kind of you to say so.
Yeah. This is quite a long-winded question, so bear with me. I know you instinctively seemed a bit uncomfortable with the Keegan and Robson comparisons whenever it was we last spoke to you, Tuesday. But I think you've now got the highest win percentage of any Newcastle manager in the Premier League. How does that make you feel? Is that a sign of how well things have gone in the last 3.5 years?
Yeah, well, I think it's a great thing. I'd never view that negatively. It's a positive stat, but I don't know. I think you can look at stats all types of ways to create whatever narrative you want. I think for me, the only uncomfortable thing is you don't compare yourself to anybody. You don't intentionally think about it. So those people have been legends of the football club in the past. I hold them personally in the highest esteem for what they, not just for the jobs they did, but for how they conducted themselves in the roles that they were in. And they're legendary figures, and rightly so. but I don't view myself that way. I view myself as just as a person trying to do the job to the best of my ability, trying to win games for the football club.
I don't know if you saw Leyton Orient's magnificent penalty shootout win over Derby in the week, but there was a quote from the manager there that it's not typical Leyton Orient anymore, that they're not set up to, there's a perception that the team lets them down, that it disappoints at the last moment. Are you changing that mentality at Newcastle, or are you determined to not make it typical Newcastle United anymore?
Well, without a doubt, we're trying to, I wouldn't say change the narrative, but we're just trying to build a new mental framework that we can win anywhere, we can achieve great things, and not associate ourselves with any historical negative psychological viewpoint. I think it's all about the future and trying to create new narratives for ourselves. We're very proud of the teams in the past that have played in the way that they have and built the legacies that they have, and we embrace that totally. But we have to be our own team, and we have to try and create new history for ourselves.
Thanks, Luke. Craig, then Gary and Martin.
Morning, Eddie.
Morning.
You've said before and you've said again today that you're not making decisions based on football, but decisions for the future of the football club. As a head coach, would you not go back and say, if you make a decision for today, it actually takes care of tomorrow with specific regards to replacing players and strengthening the squad in this window if one does go? You know, if you look after now, that might be the difference between Champions League and not.
Yeah, I get your point, and your point's a valid one. But I think when you're armed with sort of the whole picture, it can look very different. So I think we have to make together, and this is the key thing, we'll make decisions together. There won't be one person going and dictating to me that's what we're going to do. There might come a time when that might have to be the case, obviously, if I disagree strongly enough on something. But I've got to then give a logical response as to what the solution is, if I say that. So we've got to work together and make the right decisions for the here and now, and of course for the future. And we'll try and do that together. And that's the best way to do it, with teamwork and consultation. But I'll make this clear. No one wants to lose any players from our current squad, especially in positions when we're a little bit fragile. And why would we want to leave ourselves in that position? So no one wants to do it. But then, of course, when you're armed with the facts and you have to make a decision, sometimes you have to take that, as I said, that short-term pain.
And would these decisions, this short-term pain, would that, I know you've hinted at this before, but would that leave you in a very healthy position potentially for the summer? Because as we've seen now, the past three windows haven't been what we've necessarily expected of a Saudi-owned football club who were in the Champions League last year. Could this summer be different?
I don't know if this summer will be different. I don't know if suddenly the outlook totally changes. I think that's for another day. What I would say is hopefully the future beyond. Whether I'm here to enjoy that future is, of course, as a football manager, is difficult to say. But I think the future beyond that certainly looks very different.
Thanks, Craig. Gary?
Hi, Eddie. I'm sure you've seen or heard about Alan Shearer's comment about Newcastle now being in a title race. Should players and fans dare to dream that they could catch Liverpool?
I don't know what you're talking about. From Alan? No, I have. A few people have told me what he said. I think I always say, and I've said this, I think after the game against Wolves, got no problems with supporters getting caught up in any kind of feeling, emotion, talk. That's absolutely encouraged. The players, I think, slightly different. I think they've got to still be controlled. Sometimes that talk and those thoughts, you can take your focus on what you actually have to do to get there. Certainly from my viewpoint would be more towards the players' side. But I think it's important that we recognise our strengths and how strong we are. And I think we are a really strong team when we're playing well. I really love our squad. I think our squad is in a really good place. I think we've got some very good players, and we're trying to enjoy what we're doing without thinking too much about the consequences at this minute in time.
And just on Isak, obviously he's getting a lot of attention now, closing in on Jamie Vardy's potential record. How much, firstly, do you think he is capable of doing that, and how can he improve still?
I think he's capable of that, yeah, without a doubt. I think I'd just urge Alex, very similar to what I just said in my previous answer, not to think too much, just keep enjoying his football, keep working hard, and hopefully that run will continue. I think he can improve in lots of areas, and I'd say the same to any player. You know, we're always trying to identify, and then they're not huge, radical, big things because he's an elite player, but they're little tweaks that we can help him with, either individually or the team can help him with, to try and get him more opportunities to score.
Okay, we're out of time, I'm afraid. Martin, have you got one to finish?
When you left the G-Tech Community Stadium, did you turn to Jason and say, "Don't worry, we'll win the next 9 games"?
Yeah, that was a tough journey back. As I said before, I think we got the coach back. The weather was really, really bad, very windy, and me and Graham Jones watched the whole game back there and then on the bus, and it was painful because you're watching back, frustrated at what we were delivering. But positive. I always think those times are positive because you're looking for things, you're searching for answers, and yeah, of course, from that game we've made a couple of tweaks. That's not why we've gone on the run. We've gone on the run because we've got some very good players. But I think those times are good to look back on sometimes and just remind yourself of what can happen in the game, how painful it can be, and try and stay away from those feelings for as long as possible.
Just last one to finish. How different is the mood inside a football club on a run like this? And does that bit of history motivate you and the players?
Try to sort of stay away from the history side and just, as I said earlier, concentrate on the game. I have to say, and this might surprise people, but I think the atmosphere it's been pretty similar all season. And that's a big compliment to the players. Whatever moment we've been in, the players turn up very professional, very they're just good people. So I'm not saying that it's a dramatically different feeling. Of course it's better because you're winning and there's more engagement and more energy, more positive energy, but not drastically different.
Thanks everybody, we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
You go.
There we go.
That was an interesting thing, wasn't it, mate?
What? Start off with interviews as usual.
Yeah.
I am knackered.
There's been lots of remedies in the chat, Chris.
Fucking hell, man. Hey, I'm telling you, man. If when I go to the bug, it's only one solution, man. Unbelievable. Mighty Wayne, you're a twat.
Yeah, you're a lightweight, man.
No, man, it can't be. Everybody's telling the chat, man, that beer, they don't.
There's one person who doesn't know his alcohol.
It's not allowed in Australia, man. It's illegal in Australia. Well, interesting press conference. Luke Edwards, doing his thing.
Trying to get his mojo back.
Trying to get his, his boyfriend back.
Can you compare yourself with Robson and Keegan?
Oh my God, what an idiot! But one thing that caught my attention was, fuck me, what's the player he was talking about? Well, Amir in the beginning. That he would. Didn't catch my attention really. It's basically what we would expect. If he has him on the squad, he will use them even if it's until the last second. So you can agree with that really.
It's like what we were saying yesterday though, Chris, wasn't it? While you're at Newcastle, you are a player of black and white. You're not. Eddie Howe doesn't seem to look at players like other managers do and protect them and wrap them up in cotton wool. Until there's an agreement in place, you will play for Newcastle if required.
It's a top-class pro, no change in his attitude at all, and he will be training today as part of the group. That was his first group, and then there was another group, and then there was another group, and all of the answers, it's all about the group.
Absolutely.
But, guys, we're not going to spend anything.
Nope.
I mean, it's clear as day, Mighty Win, so you're going to have to take that L, man.
No, we shall see what we shall see. What I've said, by the way, I'm not saying we're definitely going to spend. What I'm saying, if we don't spend anything, it's because PIF are looking for another head coach.
No, man. No.
That's the only possible reason for not pushing the boat out. We know he was asked a question actually. Who asked that? I think it was Craig actually. Why is the gay money not available? We know that you are bidding for gay in the summer, so why is that money not available? And then he said, "Well, I don't understand PSR, so I can't answer that."
Yeah. Well, you don't agree that he doesn't understand. He's just saying that to you he's just playing
He's
poker.
just following the company line, saying we've got no money, so that when we do go in for a player, we don't get our pants taken down.
Okay.
That's all it is, company. You cannot say the money's not there because we had the money to bid for Gay, and we've had more money in since then.
I don't know. Well, I mean, look,
Doesn't
you
make
can
any
take.
sense at all. And anyway, I've done the sums. As I told Simon Capper on Wednesday Wednesday night.
With the spreadsheet.
I said, I'm pretty good at my job and all.
Yeah. You being humble and all.
Huh?
But I don't know. You know, they keep saying that maybe it is what it is, but it doesn't have to be a conspiracy. You know, so but to you, if Eddie is saying that, Eddie is saying it, we're probably not going to spend anything. And if that indeed comes to be truth, how do you are you saying that Eddie knows he's going to be sacked, or what's going on here?
Craig Howe asked him at the end, if you know you can get one player who will more or less guarantee you Champions League, and we know the money was there for Gay, why can't we go out and spend it? And Eddie said, I understand what you're saying, but the way the back room work now, we work together, teamwork, consultation. So, you know, Craig was saying exactly what I say, which is now is the time to strike. Never mind waiting for bargains or waiting till the summer, whatever. Buy now from a position of strength. Because the other thing that people are failing to realise, you know, is if we don't get Champions League, the hope of keeping together all of our crown jewels will disintegrate. If we don't get Champions League, the likes of Bruno, Isaac, Gordon even, they could all be looking for pastures new where they will get Champions League. And obviously better money. So it's now that we've got this momentum that we've got now, which is fantastic, we've got to keep it going. And that to me means reinforcing with quality first team ready players in the window, this window right now.
Okay, well, we shall see. And if we don't get anybody, you're saying that it's because PIF wants Eddie out.
Correct.
And Eddie's playing the role as well for him to get suck himself, because he's saying the same thing.
Well,
that,
he might have had enough.
Okay. Well.
I don't believe it for 1 second, because I don't believe that we're not going to sign anybody. Because I don't believe the money's not there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, interesting. Trying to pull up more of the quotes from this presser. Is it on the Chronicle? Because I try to.
Yeah, he went on to talk about Fabian Schär, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Having this nasty chesty cough that seems to be doing the mill at the minute, and he says he still hasn't trained fully, so he's going to assess him today.
Not 100%. Nasty cough, nasty illness. So we'll see.
Oh, this is what also caught my attention about Nick Pope. And well, he said, you know, he could be back, not ready, but you know.
But he was also asked.
But hold on, because I want to hit this point though, because about Pope, his wording, you know, I like to analyze every word. It almost made me feel as if he was going to come back and play, and I'm afraid of that now. That Eddie, you know, is going to be so quick to just put Pope back on the pitch.
That ain't gonna happen.
Okay. Well, see, you think of these things as if just because of what you hope and dream, man. You got to look at how Eddie Howe works. You know,
Eddie Howe works for the success of the team, and he knows what's
Fuck,
working right now.
man. Eddie, what do you think, Gary? Do you think that that Pope will just stay out just because?
To be fair, if he doesn't, then he's being a hypocrite because he's virtually stated that with the Kelly conversation, didn't he? Teams or players within the team, as we've got a selection of players now to actually pull from, and we were talking about this in our preview last night. Uh, our defence at the moment, and I include the goalkeepers, is you've got a lot of people that will come in and do a job for you. Not necessarily they're going to be the starting lineup, but you've got a selection problem, and it's the only area across all of the 11, if you like, our back five. So you've got two keepers vying for the same place. You've got three, sometimes probably four now, centre halves all vying for the same spot. So it has got to. There's got to be an element of keeping the same team going forward. And Eddie said, "I like that. I don't like to change." But there will come a time where I'll need to change. So, as much as I agree with what you've just been saying there, potentially, when Nick Pope is back up and running, I think he could be in line for a start. But I also look at it now, Chris, as we're not pushing and forcing the keeper to come back too early. We've got Oddie sitting in the background, Ruddy behind him. So, Dubravka now, he's playing out of his skin. And I honestly believe that if Hope walked straight back into this side and we lost, there will be a lot of pressure and a lot of people pointing the finger at Eddie Howe saying, was that the wise decision?
Me included. As far as Kelly was concerned, he was asked about the Kelly transfer and the bid and that. And he says, there's nothing new. He said, but Kelly has never spoken to me. He knew when he came he would have to wait and earn his place. And it's important to play his part in the group. Yet again, that word group. And then later on, he was asked about the three centre backs who were available. And he said, and asked about potential rotation. And he said, well, I like to keep a settled squad, but you sometimes need a different profile for different games, depending on who you're up against. Now he says, we're whinged our tits off when those weren't exactly Eddie's words, but he says,
they were yours.
we whinged our tits off when we had all the injuries last year. So, and this was what he said, I can't complain that I now have difficult decisions to make. So he's acknowledging that. As for Pope coming straight back in, I'd tell you what, I'd be angry.
Well, listen, it ain't the first time. It ain't the first time you've been angry with Eddie House changes. So I know you don't admit you don't admit to it now, but
Eddie's not perfect, but he's not stupid either.
Well, let me tell you something. Let's not talk before this last 9 games, man, because we got the footage to go back to. But about the center backs, interesting because what do we do? Botman it's not as far as pace, and to be honest, he's not the fastest guy. So I mean, I don't know if he'll get that pace, but as far as pace, he's not there yet. But I mean, he's one of the best center backs, and then you got Byrne playing decent. So what do? You know what I mean? Fabian Schär comes on. Does he not come on?
It's the exact position that you want.
Absolutely.
When somebody goes out of the team, if the person that replaces them is doing a good job and you're getting results, you don't change it. That's my philosophy.
Yeah, but
that's been every manager's philosophy.
Yeah, but even if you've got two left footers which you don't like,
yeah,
exactly. And you can see how good they're playing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you were wrong in that.
But that's partly because Botman's gone to right centre back.
Yeah. But this is what I love about Eddie.
He usually plays left.
He's not changing 2 or 3 bodies to
That's
try and get a
exactly,
settled
which is
side.
what we've said in the past.
We've criticised him on, haven't we?
I've criticised him for making 3 changes when 1 would have done.
Yeah, exactly.
And no, he didn't. He didn't, for example, say to Dan Burn, right, you're going to play right centre back, and Sven, you're going in your normal position.
I mean, to be fair, and we all said when we were watching the matches, there was a couple of times where we both said Shaw was a little bit culpable of some of the goals against.
Yeah.
Because he's made mistakes there.
In my opinion, so was Byrne on a few.
Well, he has. I'm not saying we've been completely infallible, but to be fair, I would be very harsh if I didn't put Byrne in one of my top 3 players of the season so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think the lad has wore the badge on his shirt and pushed himself. I mean, some of the blocks that the lad and threw his body on the line. And don't get me wrong, there's other guys that have performed just as well. But if we can have 11 players, and I understood what Josh was saying yesterday, obviously, when he wanted
11
the Burns
instead of 11 Ronaldos.
You know what I mean? I understood what he meant was he wanted a team very similar to the way Bournemouth are playing now. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You know, you've got that camaraderie. You've got 1 or 2 players that actually make the team look a little bit more balanced. And I think if you look, and I always go, every manager that's worth his salt, and we've looked at some amazing managers, head coaches within the Premier League and before that, if you've got the right spine, the peripheries will join. And that's what I always used to say to the lads. If you can get the strength through the core of the team, the peripheries actually work within the core.
Yep.
Yeah. As regards Bournemouth, he was asked, did he think they were there on merit? And he said they certainly are, but they are going through the injury crisis that we went through. And again, this is a case of us coming up against a team with, both that first choice strikers unavailable, which we've come against before, but it doesn't seem to be affecting them. That they should have beaten Chelsea the other night. They conceded. Chelsea got their equaliser 90+5, so that would have been a magnificent win for Bournemouth. But fortunately, they dropped 2 points. But he said Newcastle come first now. Hardly expecting to see anything else, to be fair, but there you go. What else did he say? He said, he was asked about the injuries. This was Keith Downey saying, it's noticeable this season that injuries haven't been such a problem as they were last season, and that we've been able to manage the players' time much better, etc. To which he said, we've got a different schedule. Obviously without the Champions League game, we've got a different schedule. But he did say it's congratulations to James Bunce, the medical team, and the background staff. That really there's only Nick, Callum, and Emil who are out at the minute. Kraft's back in the squad, as we know, and we've already talked about Nick Pope, and Callum won't be back until the back end of February at the latest.
Yep.
Keith also asked him about getting a new winger, and he said it's cash decisions, not football decisions. What else did we have?
What else?
What was the desperate?
Because I'm running on a flat tire at the moment.
He was asked about were the players managing to stay calm with regard to the
stats and everything
the 9-win run that we're on, and he said, especially the questioner referred to the overall feeling around the area, that they're invariably going to come, keep it up, we want 10, we want, or back 4 weeks ago, It was we won 6, we won 7, we won 8. Every time they go anywhere, keep it up. We won 8, we won 9. Now it's we won 10.
Well, we're gonna lose eventually, man. So wake up.
And so he said, no, what he actually said was everybody was very calm. The group is just concentrating on the next game. We've never talked about the run. I don't believe that for 1 second. But he says that one of the big differences now is that the players have expectations that they are going to win. And they expect that. But the focus is always on the next game, the next target. And
yeah, he doesn't like to talk about stats, does he?
Who mentioned the desperate? I've highlighted desperate there for some reason. So somebody was someone quoted who gave the post match presser on Wednesday, said they were desperate to get in the Champions League. Was Eddie desperate to get in the Champions League? He says we're all desperate. Me, the players, all the team are all desperate to get in the Champions League, but the focus is still on the next game, the next target.
Yeah.
Trying to finish wherever into the highest point, because obviously he's talking about fans dreaming. About we talked about it.
Cheers, Roland.
1976 was the last time we were vying on all 3 fronts. So when you've come this far now with the team looking how balanced and how good they are individually as well as a collective, the fans are dreaming, and I think what Eddie's trying to do is keep the players grounded a little bit, and like Wynn just said. Your next game is your target, not at the end of the season. It's that next game. And while we can continue to keep on this crest of a wave as a fanfare, I think that what Eddie's looking at there is the fact that we become, and we always have been, as Newcastle fans, the 12th man.
Yeah.
And I think, especially for our home performances. And, I wanted to ask you, because obviously Louis in the chat turned around and said about our 12s, we've been really good. And you said yesterday our 12 starts were very poor.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know where we are, because we can't be both.
Can't be both. We're gonna wait. We're gonna have to see until March.
I remember in Champions League qualification season, the last time, 22-23, our winning run was finished by Aston Villa. We got beat 3-0 at Aston Villa. And that was a 12:30 kickoff. And I just remember somebody pointing out then that, that was no surprise, because 12:30 kickoffs were now I don't know how many we've had since, if that skewed the balance the other way. I can't think of many half-12 kickoffs, really. But the other thing was the lovely Louise said, how we all know that since Brentford, etc., and just Tonali going to 6 effectively, Eddie said it was a lot more than just Tonali going to number 6. But she said, how do you get more from the squad than you're already getting? To which he just gave some bland answer. It's all down to individual motivation. But interesting what you said, which is true, that this is the first time we've gone into February challenging for the treble still. And the last time was 1976. Now, for those of you old enough to go back to 1976, strangely, that was very much a team that got where they got to, not because of particular brilliance. They had 1 or 2 brilliant players, but that was the team that Gordon Lee had split up the 74 Cup final team. So he'd sold McDermott, he'd sold Malcolm MacDonald, and replaced them with Jeff Numpty, who was Jeff Numpty, I called him. But he was a bit of a Sean Longstaff. His stats were incredible. When he started, we won, and when he didn't, we didn't. And Alan Gowland went up top, and we bought Mickey Burns, who ended up second top scorer in the Prem that season. They actually weren't brilliant individuals at all. But to be fair to Gordon Lee, he had them playing as a team, which is very much the way Bournemouth are doing it at the minute.
Yep.
You know, the graft their bollocks off for each other.
All right, look, a few comments here. Mr. Mercury says a flat tire. Chris, the whole engine has blown. Yeah, exactly, man. We're having issues right now, man. Jordan for life. Chris, what did you feel like walking into St. James's Park for the first time? Were you excited? Did it meet your expectations? Yes, you did. For the first 20 minutes, I wasn't even watching the game really. I was just watching, looking around and looking at the lights and the fans and everything else. So it was amazing. We're going to do it again tomorrow. That's why I think today I'm taking a day off from the juice because I need to be 100% for tomorrow.
Lightweight.
No, it ain't no lightweight, man. And this man trying to poison me. Everybody in the chat, don't drink Foster's, Chris. You know, I should have known better, man. The thing is light though. Like it's just literally like dishwater. It's just, you know what I mean. It's light. But my goodness, man. Cheers, Roland, for the retro shirt. Somebody said when I'm gonna change my shirt. Man, I only wear my shirt like for an hour. So, and I went to the match with that as well. But that's it. We'll see. More comments here and there. Terry Bilton, come on, win. Foster's like piss water. Moretti or Peroni.
Yeah,
way
you
better.
pulled up the two that have said it's like piss water.
No. Earlier on.
Jody, hang on. Jody Toon for life saying, win. Gordon Lee was a horrendous manager for the Toon. Don't pick him up. Jody Toon for life, I could not agree with you more. God rest his soul now. But if I had met Gordon Lee in the street any time in 1976 when we're going on that run, I would have knocked him out and gone to jail happily. I couldn't stand the man. Could not stand the man. So I'm definitely not picking him up, but you've got to give him credit for getting the team to that team of numpties that we had then, but to get them into fifth into Europe, and as I said, kept us in the treble race until February. It had never been done before.
Yeah. Well, any last points from Eddie Howe's press conference?
Oh, you're going back to bed, aren't you? You're not coming out with the drink with us.
No, yeah, I need to just recharge for a second, man. I need to recharge for a second. But no, I need to stop the hemorrhage, though. That's the thing.
Stop the hemorrhage.
I need to stop the hemorrhage. That's you know what I mean. Because every
cough,
30,
Chris.
every 30. No, if I cough, it's over, man. We're gonna get a new paint job here at the hotel. So we need to stop the hemorrhage. Get Chris on the Stella, not piss water. Oh, Stella, unbelievable. I had some Stella. When was it? Oh yeah, no, it wasn't at the guard team. At the lovely Stella. That's proper beer, man. Now, if Mighty Wind would drink unleaded, if it was just a bit cheaper than Foster's, you know what I mean? But I'm sticking to the best, man, to the basics. Brown ale, got my a Guinness and Stella. Other than that, I'm not trying it, man.
I must admit, we've gone from a football channel to a let's talk about how many beers we can all drink and what's better. I mean, anybody would think we were advertising.
I know, but we're not even getting paid for that.
Alcoholics Unanimous.
Well, that was it the end of the chat last night saying it's like watching the Alcoholics Anonymous gone wrong.
Yeah. Certainly.
Right.
If you haven't watched that, guys, have a look back at the live we did from the Strawberry yesterday.
Yeah, great stuff, great banter, certainly. All right, well.
Gary brought us all down to earth and said, well, are we going to do the Bournemouth preview?
Yeah, should we talk about Bournemouth while we're here?
Exactly.
Spoil sport.
Of course, as always.
So I don't think we have anything later on. I mean, you never know. So stay tuned, subscribe, hit the like button.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. And tomorrow's match day. So we got the match. We're going to have to get Brent situated with the match. He'll be doing the reaction. hopefully with Benjamin as well. And we'll do the match vlog once again. It'll probably be posted on Sunday. So, yeah, stay tuned for more. Hit the like button. And appreciate your support. We've had up to 500 people watching. And
thank you
it's
all.
been lovely. So thank you so much for your support.
Share, subscribe, get us to 5,000.
Get us to 5,000. We're close. We're catching up, though. We're getting up there. So subscribe, share with all your Geordie friends. And we'll stay in touch, folks. Take care. I gotta go eat some rice and
It's
breast
goodbye
chicken.
from him. I'm quite the right.
I'm going to say, yeah, what's going on here? It's goodbye from him.
And goodbye from everybody else.
And it's a goodbye from him.
Cheers, folks.
Bye, lightweight.
See you later.